Okay, good evening everyone.
Good evening.
Today we would like to discuss about what will happen if a cow, which is about 350 kg, ate 35 kg of feeds with urea. But before that, let me introduce myself first. My name is SYAZWANI. My matrix number 1927, and I'm the chairperson for today. But before we start our discussion, let my friends introduce themselves first. Start from my left.
Hello everyone, good evening. My name is SHARLINA binti AHMAD SHARIZAL AZUAR, matrix number 189824.
Good evening everyone, my name is NADHIRAH binti ABDUL. My matrix number is 186861.
Hi everyone, my name is AQILAH binti ANNUAR. My matric number is 187312.
Hi everyone, my name is Yang. My matric number is 188722.
Hi everyone, my name is ATIFA binti MOHD and my matric number is 189744.
Hello everyone, my name is ANNUAR. My matrix number is 189724.
Hello, my name is NURUL binti SOIB and my matric number is 190507.
Hi everyone, my name is ALISSA SYAMIRA binti JAHABAHALI and my matrix number is 190274.
Hello, my name is FARHANAH and my matrix number is 180181.
So let's start our discussion.
So we'll begin with the objective of this discussion. Firstly, the discussion is to determine the digestive system for ruminants. Second, it is to determine the effect of the amount of urea in ruminants. Lastly, it is to determine the biochemical processes occur in ruminant digestion.
So I will be talking about urea digestion in cattle. So as we know, in urea there are proteins and ammonia. So both protein and ammonia are fermented to the same end product. However, peptides and amino acids are intermediates and may be used in microbial cell synthesis. Ammonia is either absorbed directly across the rumen wall or passes out of the rumen with the fluid phase of digestion, or is incorporated into microbial protein. The dietary protein is not totally degraded, and some passes intact into the abomasum and duodenum, where it is digested by enzymatic hydrolysis. All crude protein the animal ingests is divided into two fractions: degradable intake protein and undegradable intake protein, which is also called as rumen bypass protein. Fermentation of protein starts in the rumen. Rumen microbes break down the degradable intake protein into ammonia, amino acids and peptides, which are used by the microbe along with energy from carbohydrate digestion for growth and reproduction. Excess ammonia is absorbed via the rumen wall and converted into urea in the liver, where it returns in the blood to the saliva or is excreted by the body. Ingested urea is immediately degraded to ammonia in the rumen. The rumen does not degrade the undegradable intake protein component of feedstuffs. The undegradable intake protein passes the rumen and makes its way from the omasum to the abomasum. The reticulum is the crossroad where particles entering or leaving the rumen are sorted. Only particles that are small in size and dense may move on the third stomach. The third stomach omasum acts as a type of pump, moving the food from the reticulum to the abomasum, where gastric juice is released to digest protein. Gastric juice contains pepsin, which convert proteins into simpler and more easily absorbed substances, which is aided by hydrochloric acid. Next digestion will be explained by my friend ALISSA.
Okay, thank you, AQILAH. So I to continue where AQILAH has stopped. So unlike a ruminant 3-4 stomach, the abomasum is a secretory stomach. What is meant by secretory stomach is that cells in the abomasum wall produce enzymes and hydrochloric acid, which hydrolyze proteins in the food and also in the microbes mixed in with the food. Hydrolysis breaks the proteins into smaller subunits such as dipeptides and amino acids are ready for further digestion and absorption in the small intestine. In the duodenum, the main pancreatic duct carries digestive secretions which are rich in enzymes and bicarbonate. The bicarbonate neutralizes acid from the stomach, which would otherwise inactivate many of the duodenum digestive enzymes due to the not suitable pH. In the jejunum, amino acids and small peptides are moved across the intestine lining by active transport. Once nutrients have moved through the epithelial cells, they are taken up by either capillaries or lacteals and then transported around the body. Meanwhile, in cecum, it serves as a storage organ that permits bacteria and other microbes to further digest cellulose. Finally, the large intestine eliminates waste. Undigested and unabsorbed food, as well as other body waste, leaves the intestine in the form of feces, via the rectum and anus.
So talking about urea feed to cattle, I would like to talk about the types of urea supplements. So basically there are two types of urea supplements, which are in block shape, and also in what we call it loose mixes, which is in like mixture or powder or the form. So the first type is block is convenient to feed to cattle and are generally safe. Although they all saying that whenever urea is fed to cattle, death can occur still applies. So the amount of blocks required should be 50 grams per cattle per day. So to make this block, usually a block of urea usually used for a longer time. So we can make it by times it to 7 days or a month. So another type of urea supplements, which is in powder form, the majority of urea and sulfur fed to cattle is fed in the losses mix form, and often this form customized for individual properties. So this form of urea usually benefit, it can be measured for individual fed, and providing cattle with access to urea at all times result in much more efficient supplementation and better cattle performance. So this form recipe to achieve can be mixed with salt, urea of course, sulfur, and also sulfate of ammonia. So that's all.
Okay, thank you, ATIFA. So I'll be talking about the benefits of urea supplements. So as we know, grasses become more fibrous and difficult to digest as they mature, and the result that the nutrients in the grass become less accessible to the cattle. So in grazing, little can be done to improve the digestibility of mature grass, but appropriate supplements such as urea supplements can increase the rate at which digestion occurs. And faster digestion results in an increase in the amount of grass eaten, resulting in improved animal performance. So as the dry season progresses and the protein content of the pasture continues to decline, rumen activity also declines, feed intake declines, and animals eat less of poorer quality, less digestible feed. So without intervention from an improvement in pasture quality from rain or appropriate supplementation, this downward spiral of declining feed intake in a poorer quality feed can eventually result in animal death. So the high crude protein equivalent of urea is the reason why it is commonly included in the supplements fed to grazing cattle. So historically, the urea has been the most cost-effective source of crude protein available for ruminants, as the nitrogen in the urea is basically utilized by the rumen microbes. It is little used as a protein supplement to species without a rumen, for example, such as horses. And the rate at which digestion occurs is governed to a large extent by the number of type of microbes present in the rumen at any time. A large healthy population of microbes result in a faster digestion of feed and an increase of feed intake for the cattle. So the aim for the urea supplementation program is to improve the rumen function and animal performance by supplying a small amount of urea and sulfur to cattle on at least a daily basis during the dry season. So that's all from me.
Okay, now I will talk about the effects of excess urea in cattle. Since Ewan already explained the benefits of urea supplements, too much urea is also not ideal for cattle. Urea in cattle feed is needed to obtain nitrogen, which is released in the rumen of the cattle as ammonia. The ammonia is used by the rumen microflora to synthesize protein. However, if more urea or non-protein nitrogen, NPN as we call it, is consumed, then the rumen organisms can metabolize. The ammonia is absorbed from the rumen into the blood. This is due to the fact that ammonia molecules are very small and can easily absorb into the bloodstream. The ammonia is then converted back into urea in the liver, and then it is excreted by the kidney. This pathway can easily be overwhelmed when excess ammonia and urea circulate in the blood, causing poisoning or ammonia toxicity. Poisoning can occur rapidly from a few minutes to a few hours after consumption. It doesn't take long for cattle to show the symptoms of urea poisoning, since it also affects the milk production and produce high concentrations of urea in cattle beef. But however, the cattle is most likely not to survive in this kind of condition. So the symptoms of urea poisoning in cattle, we can identify it by if the cattle is undergoing urea poisoning when it twitches its ears and its facial muscles, grinding its teeth, and then it will salivate, frothy salivation, bloat, abdominal pain, urination frequently, forced rapid breathing, weakness, staggering, and others. So often animals are found dead near the source of the urea supplement. And often a large pool of rumen fluid is seen on the ground and near the nose of the animal. The cattle usually suffers severe bloating and fluid buildup in gases, forces rumen fluid out through the mouth when the animal dies.
So I was talking about the precaution for feeding urea. So as we know, the feeding urea actually is a formulate diet. It's a feed component that can provide energy and crude protein values from the food. And first of all, since urea is a good source of effective rumen degradable protein, or be known as ERDP, to adult ruminants, but we should always take care of their diets so we are balanced. And this is because the feeding levels in cattle, if too low, it will cause a high protein content, which is essential that urea can. So how to avoid it? We have to make sure that the urea be mixed thoroughly with other feeds prior to offering to animals. So we have to balance the diets and mix with animal food so that it can be balanced. And the next is we have to use urea that provide not more than 1/3 of the total protein requirement in the ration. So as from the title, you know that the great urea that feed the cattle is overload or it can cause overeating. So when this kind of thing happen, the cattle should only be fed the ration at least twice daily to prevent ammonia overload. And then if this happen, the ammonia overload happen, the urea may often be broken down to ammonia in the rumen at a fast rate. Then the rumen microflora can utilize. This will cause the formation of the protein, and it will eventually cause the amino acid or nitrogenous compound to produce, and will result in excess ammonia absorbed to the rumen, and then will go directly to the bloodstream, and it will be excreted in the urine if the intake is higher than the amount required, as what you have said before, which is caused in urinating repeatedly. And the next one is we can conclude this as urea toxicity comes from overfeeding urea to ruminants. And furthermore, the feed component that should be weighed precisely and make sure the urea is mixed completely and uniformly in the ration. And we cannot feed cattle on diets with urea, because I read some articles say that cattle that is less than 4 months, we cannot feed it with urea because they cannot utilize the ammonia in the grade urea, which can cause to death or something disease. And rather, the plant protein used to can be mixed in the urea with the ration, and then you convert to urea containing ration after 30 days of feeding, because cattle will often have a period lower intake and these lower weight gains during initial feeding of urea containing ration. And moreover, the urea contains only protein like mineral, vitamins, and other value, so it will be adjusted with other diet components. And the higher rumen bypass proteins such as distillers grain, where the more the protein is absorbed in the lower gut and outside the rumen, are complementary to urea in ration. And last but not least, the feed grade urea should also be stored in cool and dry condition, usually available in bags, or should be taken to ensure the correct amounts are weighed into ration are split material, so it will be kept away from animal contact. So we have to keep it in a safe place, so no other contact with other animals to prevent contaminated. So I think that's all from me.
Okay, so next, urea poisoning is one of the most commonly suspected toxicities in cattle when excess urea is consumed. Urea is used as a source of non-protein nitrogen in feed supplement. In rumen, nitrogen from urea is released in the rumen as ammonia and can be used by rumen microflora to synthesize protein. This protein then become available to the animal through the normal processes of digestion and absorption. However, if urea is consumed, then the rumen organism can metabolize. The ammonia is absorbed from the rumen into the blood. The ammonia is then converted back to the urea in the liver and is then excreted by the kidneys. This pathway can easily be overwhelmed when excess ammonia and urea circulate in the blood, causing poisoning. Poisoning can occur rapidly from a few minutes to 4 hours after consumption. Suspect urea poisoning if cattle are found dead close to the supplement. So there are some causes of urea. Urea poisoning can be caused by several factors such as excess consumption of urea, sudden introduction to high quantities of urea, irregular consumption of urea, wet supplement containing urea, and last factor is urea has been separating out from the supplement after transport or remit prior to feeding. So that's all for me.
So I would like to add another disease that is associated with the excess urea, which is uremia. Uremia, it can be translated as urea in the blood. Urea is one of the primary components of urine. It can be defined as an excess of amino acids and protein metabolism and products such as urea and creatinine in the blood that will be normally excreted in the urine. The uremic syndrome can be defined as the terminal clinical manifestation of kidney failure, which is also called renal failure. It is the signs, symptoms, and results from laboratory tests which result from inadequate excretory, regulatory, and endocrine function of the kidneys. Both uremia and the uremic syndrome have been used interchangeably to define a very high plasma urea concentration that is the result of renal failures. To diagnose this disease, there are 3 tests that could be done, which is the first is blood test. It was a primary test performed for the diagnosis of uremia, which are basic metabolic panel with serum calcium, phosphorus to evaluate the GFR, blood urea, nitrogen, and creatinine, as well as serum potassium, phosphate, kalium, and sodium levels. The second test is urine test. It is a 24-hour urine collection for determination of creatinine clearance may be an alternative, although not a very accurate test due to the collection procedure. Another laboratory test that should be considered is urinalysis with microscopic examination for the presence of protein, cast, blood, and pH. Last but not least, the third test is radioisotope test. The gold standard for determining GFR is euthylamate clearance. However, it may be cost prohibitive and time-consuming.
So, while I was doing research for this discussion, I recently discovered a few clinical terms to describe the symptoms of the cow suffering from urea poisoning that I thought I'd share with you guys. So, first of all, when cows undergo urea poisoning, what happens is the body actually undergoes toxicosis, which is a pathological condition which is caused by poison or toxin, which in this case is actually the excess of urea. So what the actual term for the cow is undergoing toxicosis. And then the few symptoms of a cow that's undergoing urea toxicosis is actually, a few of them is ataxia. Ataxia is actually loss of full control of body movement. So actually when this cattle, they have urea poisoning and it drags on, the reason they die is because once the disease continues, the cow, it affects their neurons and all. So what happens is the cow itself will lose all bodily functions. So when they do that, the heart will stop beating and everything, so they will then die. Next, but before it reaches ataxia, there's actually a few other symptoms that you can notice in the cow. First is transient diuresis. So actually when the cow undergoes urea toxicosis, there is a momentary increase in formation of its urine by the kidneys. So we call that transient diuresis. So after that, there is also dyspnea. Dyspnea is actually a term for shortness of breath. And as mentioned by NADHIRAH earlier, cows who have urea poisoning will actually froth a lot, and it's also considered dyspnea because the shortness of breath causes them to froth at the mouth. So next is hyperkalemia. Hyperkalemia is actually an abnormally high level of potassium in the blood, and this will happen actually in accordance to the high levels of nitrogen and ammonia in the cow's blood as well. And the last one, this is actually the simplest way to tell if a cow has urea poisoning, is by exothalmia. Exothalmia is a condition where the cow's eyes are abnormally protruded, like more than usual. You can see them in severe discomfort, so their eyes are protruding. So that's actually one of the signs of symptoms of urea toxicosis in cattle. And that's all I would share for you for today.
Okay, so thank you everyone for your contributions to the discussion today. I believe that all of us have learned one or two things about the digestion of urea, and I hope that our discussion today will be beneficial for all of us in the future. With that, I conclude our discussion today. Thank you for coming.